stopped going outside. I stopped eating most days. I stopped taking breaks. And it got to the point where emails would give me anxiety because I was like, there's something else that I can't get to. And I was on so many different environmental issues that I didn't feel like I was giving 100% to each thing. I felt like I was fragmented in a billion different places. I was working on building decarbonization, oil and gas issues, offshore wind energy. I was working on toxics, plastics, recycling, and solid waste. And all of these issues had an environmental or environmental justice nexus. And to top it off, I was inundated with a whole gamut of environmental issues that I couldn't solve immediately. You know, going to talks about an individual who lived in Kern County near oil and gas wells and all of a sudden developed cancer, reproductive cancer. And now this person, she can't even have kids. She had to remove her reproductive organs. The oil and gas industry took her ability to have kids away. We're talking about PFAS and American drinking water and the connection with high blood pressure and cancer and like a whole gamut of negative health effects. And we see it in our clothing, we see it in the vinyl in our flooring, we see it in our building materials, we see it in our drinking water. It's everywhere. And I was just constantly inundated with these things, and as a highly empathetic person, it was draining to me. So draining that I fell into a depression. And I stopped seeing the benefit of advocating in the legislature. I started to feel like, why am I spending all of my time trying to convince the oil and gas industry to stop drilling near neighborhoods? Like something that was so no-brainer to me, just it wasn't happening. And I started to feel like my efforts were futile. And I would get really upset about the fact that we were lobbying for a policy that established a buffer, a 3,200 foot buffer between oil and gas drilling and community spaces. So daycares, hospitals, schools, what have you. And we couldn't even pass that for over 10 years. And we finally did, and then it was revoked. The oil and gas industry, they contested it. And it was very discouraging. And I kind of was just like, why am I here? Why is nothing changing? Why is the world collapsing and no one cares? And I was pregnant when I was at the California legislature. I was 9 months pregnant. And I was going on maternity leave soon and just kind of at my wit's end. I was pregnant and I was tired, and this stuff was really getting me down. And I don't know what happened, but I decided to create this journal that would help environmental activists and environmentalists stay in the fight, to keep going, to not let the state of the environment get us so down that first of all we develop depression, or second of all we don't want to do anything about it anymore. We're kind of like, whatever, right? We're apathetic. I didn't want that to happen, and I think I made this for myself too. Like, I needed a little bit of a safe haven, so I created a journal for eco-anxiety. And eco-anxiety is extreme worry about the state of the environment. And I created this journal because I wanted environmentalists to feel seen, to feel nurtured, to have something that fills their cup up so they can keep giving. Because what happens is you find out about all of these really terrible environmental issues, and you're pulled in every single direction. And it really takes a toll on you mentally and physically, right? Especially if you're like a community organizer. And so I just wanted to give people a safe space to write down how they feel and vent. I wanted to give people meditations and gratitude exercises to help you be a little bit more optimistic about the direction of the state of the environment. We have the power to steer it in a different direction, to get it to a place where we feel like this is a world we want to live in, right? So in this eco-anxiety journal that I created, I've got gratitude exercises, I've got meditations, I've got manifestation meditations, I've got a digital detox section so you can take a break from all of the news that just, it makes you feel less embodied, it makes you feel anxious, it makes you feel like what you're doing is not working. And I give you tips and tricks for connecting with other environmentalists and getting involved in local projects and local groups and volunteering so that you feel like you're making a difference. Because what we don't realize is that our actions, they have a ripple effect, and we actually can't measure how impactful our actions are towards others. So when we say, oh gosh, we're not doing anything, like we picked up a little bit of trash near an ocean with our friends. You told your mom that you were gonna go pick up trash near the ocean, and now she all of a sudden wants to recycle, right? And so those are the types of things that I want you to remember, that the power is in our hands and that we can improve the state of the environment. We can join a local restoration project. We can look to Indigenous knowledge and really figure out how to be Indigenous allies, because they are responsible for over 80% of protecting the biodiversity of this planet. And so I just really wanted to give you a safe haven. This is particularly for people that have climate anxiety. This is for people that are experiencing climate-related disasters as we speak. Fires, floods, droughts, hurricanes, what have you. This is gonna help you stay grounded, stay optimistic, and focus on what you can control. Thank you. My name is Sakira Mascal, and I am the founder of Madiri Reciprocity. Thank you.
So I'm going to take you through a page-by-page breakdown of the journal for eco-anxiety. It's called Fighting for Our Planet. I have this image here of an individual staring at the window and feeling incredibly overwhelmed because trash has accumulated outside of her front door. And this really just speaks to the fact that, our trash is hauled away to the nearby landfill. But in many other countries, the trash just essentially accumulates at their doorstep. I mean, it's just, they're surrounded by it. They're drowning in it. And imagine if the sanitation services just ceased to exist in America. This could be what it looked like if you really were to just take stock of how much plastic we use every day. All right. I have a little definition of eco-anxiety, a little short blurb about myself and why I created the journal. So this is the index page, and essentially I have it's a 6-month journal, and you can just fill in the months as you see fit. And we have a Today I'm Feeling section, a daily venting section, a weekly meditation, weekly mindfulness practices, weekly exercises, digital detox, monthly gratitude, monthly action, a mood tracker, a habit tracker, and a daily journal. And so your monthly calendar will look like this. And the tabs, you can use these tabs to actually jump to the month that you want to go to. So if you said January, February, March, April, May, June, you could jump to March if you so choose. This month 1. Okay, and so we have our Today I'm Feeling page. This page was created to help environmentalists establish good habits as they navigate the difficult feelings associated with eco-anxiety. Gratitude can help relieve stress, positive affirmations raise our vibrations, daily meditations help calm our minds, and food and water trackers ensure that we care for our bodies. So that is the meaning and rationale behind Today I'm Feeling. And then we have a daily venting page. This page was created to give environmentalists a safe space to release their frustrations about the state of the environment. Sometimes the ability to release our frustrations can feel a little curated, meaning, you have to wait until you go to a protest or speak to a friend or another event to release your frustrations. Others may encourage you to focus on positive things too quickly before you can just, feel what you feel. And so this section allows for environmentalists to write down what they're feeling every day without the expectation to focus on the positive and anytime they feel frustrated. Here I have a breakdown of the importance of meditation and mindfulness. This page is about the importance of mindfulness and meditation. I created this page for unfamiliar environmentalists who do not regularly practice meditation or mindfulness. I wanted to share why these practices are helpful for environmentalists and the movement. Now we're moving on to our weekly mindfulness practice. And you'll see that there's a Canva watermark here. I'm on a free account right now. If you purchase Canva Pro, this watermark will be removed. So weekly mindfulness, there's no shortage of environmental catastrophes. Sometimes my mind just runs amok, especially as a senior policy strategist who works on environmental issues day in and day out. This is when I was doing lobbying. The tracing exercise that you can see here is helpful for individuals who need help calming their minds. I also think it's crucial for environmentalists to be present, as we're constantly thinking about how we can improve the future or past environmental harms. So this is the weekly mindfulness page. We as environmentalists, right, we love to be in nature, we love to be outside. So I had to do it right and add a nature exercise to this journal. However, when I wrote this journal, I only had 2 exercises here, which was sitting in nature and walking in nature. But I quickly realized that the ability to walk in a beautiful space is a privilege. So I added the opportunity to practice mindfulness in one's garden or with houseplants for those that do not have access to green space. This is the weekly manifestation meditation exercise. Many of the negative emotions we feel about the state of the environment are caused in part by tethering ourselves to a negative future outlook. We feel sad, disappointed, frustrated, angry, etc. because we think the future will look bleak. What if it didn't? What if we envisioned a green, bustling environment instead? Further, what if we reveled in that feeling? The simple disruption of the narrative that everything is doom and gloom and that we can change the outlook of the environment can shift something inside us such that we begin to feel happier, grateful, and more optimistic about the future. I also have a weekly digital detox declutter section. So environmentalists are constantly bombarded with negative news about the environment every day, so it's imperative to unplug. This section provides tips and tricks for environmentalists to unplug or reduce screen time. I didn't add this to the journal, but it's also helpful in encouraging us to go outside. I also added weekly exercises. One of them is to find a positive environmental news story. Our brains tend to focus on the negative more than the positive, but also, when's the last time you've read a positive article about the environment? I encourage the journal user to seek out positive news articles in this exercise so they can be reminded that not everything is doom and gloom. The second thing is to encourage you to find others that care about the environment as well. Please do not go through this alone. This section encourages environmentalists to find their community. It's easy to get bogged down when you feel others don't care as much as you do about the environment. I also have a question that says, how would you describe a local plant, animal, or other life form in 2060 to a group of kids? Let's be honest. Many species we love and appreciate as environmentalists may not be here in 2060. I created this section to allow people to reminisce about the creatures we love so that as you're explaining it, it's almost as if the animal or the plant or the life form is right in the room with you. Also, can we do it justice? To accurately describe the majestic beauty of the life form, of an elephant, for example, We must tell it well. Okay, this is a gratitude section. Gratitude for environmentalists is everything. It's easy to form a deficiency mindset in the environmental movement, such as we're losing half of the world's biological diversity, we're losing our topsoil, and we're going to lose our water supply to climate change. Although it's essential to know these facts, it's equally important to recognize what we do have and what we can do to have more, not less. I also have a section to encourage us to take action, right? I created this page because I feel like even though the field of therapy is incredibly useful and beneficial, it has limitations. Finding inner peace and honing your ability to deal with stress or injustice is essential, but it's equally important for society to change. We must consider why people develop depression or eco-anxiety, and this stems from our culture in terms of the way we treat others and the environment. I encourage the journal user to think of ways they can positively contribute to the environmental movement, and I offer some suggestions for getting involved. And so this is the the monthly action suggestions that I have here. It's just a list. Okay. I also have a mood tracker, right? So you can be like, wow, I was angry for 15 days straight last month. Maybe I should do something about that. Viewing the trend of our moods provides us with valuable information that could be used to address negative moods or uncomfortable moods. And I want to pause here and say that all moods are valuable, and you do not have to be happy all of the time. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. But we can continue practices that help foster and create more positive moods and share information with others about how their mindset can contribute to positive or negative moods. Because ultimately you want to feel good inside, right? Okay, and then we have a habit tracker. If someone were to try this journal for one day, they may feel better. However, if they tried this journal for 6 months, I'm positive that they'd take some helpful information, habits, and hope from it. And then I have this legacy page. This is one of my favorite pages. I don't know what prompted me to add this, but I love it. Now, we know extractive industries have decided to leave a certain legacy behind, but we can choose differently. By asking you to focus on the kind of legacy that you want to leave, I'm compelling you to think about the stamp that you want to leave on this world. Since this legacy is likely positive and rooted in environmental protection, I'm assuming this exercise will give you a boost of happiness. Not only because you're writing a beautiful legacy, but because it's one more person doing something positive in the environment, even if that person is you. And then just more writing, honey. So this is just daily journal. I mean, it's just lots and lots of daily journals. So basically like about a month's worth of daily journals. And at the end of each page is a nice uplifting quote for you. And then my very last part of the journal that I find incredibly beneficial and meaningful and helpful and lovely. So this is also one of my favorite pages. I wanted to remind you of all of the positive milestones that we've experienced in the environmental movement. This is a timeline of all of the beautiful legislation that we've passed and environmental landmarks, and it's called It's Not All Doom and Gloom, Environmental Victories. And I just want you to refer back to this when you're feeling kind of down and you're like, you know, people don't really care and I feel like we're not doing enough. I would love for you to look at this timeline just to remember that we've had a lot of environmental victories. Okay, much love. Oh, okay, let me say this. So, how much is this thing? $1. It's $1, y'all. Okay, I wanted it to be as accessible as possible. And I wanted it to be as accessible as possible because anything that's going to transform your mind, body, and spirit shouldn't be behind a paywall, right? You shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars or anything to get something that's that transformative. And so I hope this helps you with your eco anxiety. I hope this helps you with your climate anxiety. And I'm so honored that you watched this video to the end. I really, really, really wholeheartedly appreciate you and have so much gratitude for you. All right, much love. Madiri, reciprocity.